Yep. What's up, people? Hello. Welcome to another impromptu episode of Latin Splaining with Denise. I know, guys, this is a very, super impromptu. I see that Risa Ramos already here representing. What's up, bro? Um, this is a very impromptu show. Um, I I don't even know how to start today's show, right? As you guys can see, the title is Latinos Are Just Supposed to Take It. I know it sounds very extreme, but that's just something that I need to just get off of my chest. There's so much I have to, right? But I'm gonna start by the very basics. Um, Oh my God. As you come in, I'm gonna wait till more people get in here. As you guys come in, please hit the like button. Trust me, you want this stream to get out. This is a stream that I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible. I'm not gonna be here over an hour. It's not going to be a calling show. This is just gonna be my take on stuff, right? But like I said, as you guys come in, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, uh, and also share it. Share this video. Trust me, you want to share this video, guys. I see that we have 6 people already in the chat, guys. The streets of YouTube have gotten more ridiculous than ever before. I'm going to give a little bit of context while more people come in. Shout out to Radical Latino, man. Shout out to Radical Latino. If you're not subscribed to Radical Latino, you got to. I see that Asir TV is over here. Hey, what's up? If you have not subscribed to Radical Latino, you want to do it because I can guarantee you that what I'm going to talk about today, which was brought up to my attention just like 20 minutes ago. Uh, Radical Latinos channel, like if you love, like, I don't know, clever or like elevated debate, that's the channel you want to subscribe to, right? If you want to be subscribed to like intellectual debates that are not low vibrational, you want to subscribe to that. You do. You want to, and for a lot of folks, like I get it. Radical is Latino, just as I am. Uh, you gotta start welcoming everyone if you want to have the conversation or if you want stuff to stay, you know, logic. Let's just put that word out there. But definitely subscribe to Radical Latino. Same as if you're subscribed here, make sure that you hit that bell for notifications. That way you can get access to every time I go live. So to give a little bit of context while people come in, Radical Latino started a few years ago with the concept of Black and Brown unity, utilizing his space, basically using social, which is basically where we all live. At least I would say 30% of our day is spent on social. If you're millennial and senior, like of course, it could range all the way from 30% all the way to 70% of your day because some people are like obsessed like that. But we live in social one way or the other. So he decided to use social media as an avenue, as a modern avenue to push out a message of why Black and Latinos should unite to get stuff done in this country. Of course, he started by pointing out the opposition on the Latino side because we know full well, and we've proven this, Latinos are also color struck. There's a lot of racist people among our ranks. There's a lot of people that believe that saying the name white supremacy is like a big taboo that should be hidden, which is ridiculous. And a lot of people have an anti-black sentiment within our group. That is a known fact, and I think we've spoken about this enough for like several years now. I got into the space and I love the message that he was talking about. Do I agree 100% with everything that radical stands for? No, we're individuals. We're going to disagree on certain things. He doesn't agree with everything I say either, but we always like to hear each other's point of view in order to establish an opinion and also establish a conversation. So, in recent times, after doing close to 5 years covering anti blackness and correcting anti blackness on the Latino spectrum, pointing out to many Black Americans that don't know necessarily Latino history like we do or Latino background like we do. He started pointing out to Black Americans where all of this came from. We established several different things on his streams. And there was a lot of Latinos that started coming at Radical, attacking myself, attacking other Latinos that were on those panels, denouncing this stuff, and they created what we called the slow taps, the Hispano taps, which are people that are still worshiping Spain after our people actually battle Spain out of our countries. And we used to make fun of them. It was like a whole cluster fluff, and it just turned into something crazy. But we got the message out, and also we shed a light to like a lot of Black Americans that are unaware of stuff, so that they can be aware of slang. You know what is anti-blackness in the Latino community, how it started, who started it, even in the West, which was Spain, which was our conquistadors. But that's a topic for another stream. Long story short, now we move to the part of why we started covering the topic of anti-Latino sentiment. And it's because, of course, there is a group of people that it's going at Latinos the same way that Hispano taps and Latino taps and slow taps are going at Black Americans. It's the same thing, it's just that on reverse. So that group, because it's not a lineage, it's a group, we've proven that time after time, that group, also known as the following cult of Tariq Nasheed, aka the FBAs. If you go to, and I want to clarify this because I've said this at least 17 times now, and I'm counting them. This is the 18th time I'm going to define again what we talk about when we mention FBA. When we talk about FBA, we're talking about the group, the origin story of the group, the universe in which that group exists, the ideology that Black Americans are some kind of descendants from Spain and Spaniard conquistadors that got liberated and then enslaved again. The the ideology that Black Americans origin story, it's predated to 1619. That is the ideology I'm talking about. I've always said this is the ideology we're talking about. This is the ideology that Radical's talking about. We're not talking about the fact that Black Americans have a rich history in this country, that they literally are one of the most resilient communities up until now. We never talk about that as, oh, let's just forget that they exist. No, we can clearly see that there's Black Americans out here, and we can clearly see their history all throughout this nation. So when we talk about FBA, we're talking about that concept, that teaching, that ideology is an ideology. You want to punch the air, you want to scream, pull your hair, I don't care what you want to do, is an ideology. Hey, Jose, what's up? Yeah, trust me, this is not gonna be a call in, Jose. So you don't have to worry about calling in because it's just gonna be me ranting out here. Okay, if you've never seen me rant, you want to be here for the first rant. Now, as a result of this conversation, there was a lot of followers of Radical Latino and myself that we started like having the conversation now, and it was These people used to say, "We rock with y'all. You guys are our brothers and sisters. Yes, we need black and brown unity. Yes, we should be united with one another. Yes, we should be, one people to get stuff done, because at the end of the day, the system and white supremacy is intertwined at the end of the day, because of course Europeans are the ones in power, because we both have something in common, and that is that in this country and in the West, we lost the war, and that is a known fact. Even though many Latin countries are free, if you look at how we have lost territory, that is a known fact. Mexico lost territory to the United States, aka majority of the West and some of the South used to be Mexico. Today is part of the US. So of course there is a longing resentment there. There is a lot of animosity between those two countries, and same with my country. Like if you look at Puerto Rico is a colony of the United States, so of course we have interests in common. So we often wanted to be united with African Americans because of that interest, not because we love each other particularly. I don't have a problem, I love African Americans, but not every Latino is going to feel the way I do, because everyone's their own individual. But not because Latinos as a bulk love them, or because Black Americans love Latinos, because I get it. There's some Black Americans that love us, and some don't even have to, but they give us and we give them the, simple decency that any human being deserves. And based on our common interests, we were supposed to uh, unite to get stuff done, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But apparently, when we put the focus on Black Americans and our quote unquote allies in this social media movement that started in social media, even though it has translated into real life, when we started like putting these concepts out there, all of our Black allies disappeared, and they started just making excuses as to why it's okay for the FBA cult to hate on Latinos. And I've said many times, and I think the last time I commented about this was with the WAC 100 or 100 WAC. I don't know his name particularly, but I've said many times. I know for a fact a lot of Mexicans and a lot of Central Americans have no issues with Black people. As a matter of fact, they just see them as people. But there's also a large sector of Mexicans and Central Americans that are extremely racist, that have a lot of anti-Black sentiment. The same happens with my brothers and sisters in the DR. However, that is not the same nature of our relationships with Black people in the East. If you go to the East Coast, which I've been into the East Coast, some of my family lives in the East Coast. That is not the relationship that we have with Black Americans, because we also come from Black people, because we are also Black, and also we don't have contempt for Black people, and we don't see an issue. We've been under the same boot at the end of the day. So this is like a West Coast, Southern uh, problem for the most part. Now, can there be Puerto Ricans that are anti-black or racist? Absolutely. Just like there's blacks that are anti-black and racist. This exists all throughout. So the people that are coming in, please hit the like button, subscribe, share. You know, again, this is I'm gonna put this out here. I usually don't give permission for people to use my content. I'm going to give authorization to use only 10 minutes tops, with the condition that you link back into the stream. If you want to use 10 minutes of this, go ahead, use 10 minutes. But you have to link back into this video on your description box. I'm going to give anyone this permission. But anyway, back to the topic. So what happens is that Radical Latino and myself, we've been rocking with our brothers and sisters for a long time, for a long time, and we will continue to do so just because we're calling out Black Americans on their lack of allyship, for the lack of a better word. That does not mean that we hate them, that we don't support them, that now we don't want anything to do with them. I don't know who. And I want those folks that used to call us their brothers and sisters and are now seeing us as ops. I want those people to actually point out, when did we say we don't support the stuff that y'all need done anymore? We don't want to know anything, have anything to do with you. We're anti-black now. We hate y'all. We don't want, like, I want people to start bringing out receipts, because I hate when people do not speak based on facts. Just because someone disagrees with you, and this is something that I'm gonna call out our quote unquote Black American allies on this space. Just because we disagree with you on certain issues, and because y'all refuse to call out your clowns like we called out ours, that does not mean we don't mess with you. That means that you lack the backbone to call out your group when stuff hits the fan. Don't try to pawn your lack of a backbone on us. That has nothing to do with how we see Black Americans. Nothing to do. We're talking about your lack of a backbone on calling out what has transpired throughout this last year and a half in this space that we created so that both of us could benefit. Stop trying to derail the conversation to what is convenient now, so that people don't see that you lack a backbone, that you're a hypocrite, that you were not really for Black and Brown unity, you were for anti Latino speech. And you took what we did to better our people so that we could be mature and decent to even Black folks that don't like us. You took those talking points to fuel anti Latino sentiment. Don't try to pawn off your anti Latino sentiment and your jealousy and your envy and your problems with Latino people off of me. And I'm going to speak for myself. I'll let Radical, if he wants to address it differently, that's how he's going to address it. I'm speaking for myself. I am so tired of these folks trying to scapegoat me and people that think like me because they lack a backbone. It's not my fault. I did not make the world this way. It is not my fault what you've been through. Latinos have not done shit to Black Americans throughout history. If anything, a lot of our factions of Latinos have tried to work with y'all. Okay? So again, shield the hell out. Stop trying to pawn off your responsibilities and what you were supposed to contribute to the group on us. You don't want to do what it takes. We understand that. Just say that. You don't have to throw smoke bombs like, oh, now, you don't support us and stuff, because I'm still, and I've said it many times, I'm still in support of reparations to Black Americans. I still think that those are services rendered and they need their payment. They were promised 40 acres and a mule and they were given nothing. They got pushed out of the watermelon business. They got pushed out of their properties. They got massacred not only in Tulsa, but in Rosewood, what is known today as Central Park, and many others all throughout the United States. So, yes, I'm still in support of reparations, 1000%. I've never drifted away from that. I'm still in support for Black Americans integrating into the American system because this is their country. I'm still in support of them taking care of themselves and prioritizing themselves. It's not my fault that you have clowns within your group that are acting like crabs in a barrel and setting you back. We didn't made it that way. Latinos throughout history has never stabbed black people in the back. Okay? As a matter of fact, you can marry today. You want to thank white Saudi for that, but you can marry today non-black people because we started that. 1947, Perez versus Sharp. You can lie, I can lie. History and numbers never lie. Go look it up yourself. We've helped advance civil rights for black people. So stop the cap. Stop the cap. Look at this. This is the type of comment. It says a Latino channel doing a show primarily focused on black people is distasteful and tantamount to bigotry. I want the people that have been following me since I started in 2021 to inform this gentleman that's called Beans Pot Mob Star Bus, to inform this gentleman that I have over 100 videos, almost 90, 95, 96 of them are based on Latinos. And the few ones that I have that are based on Black Americans, most of them is speaking about the support that I give to Black Americans. It isn't up until recent times that I have to defend myself from the stupidity that some people that happen to be Black Americans are doing towards my persona. Okay? So again, there's an individual. We had this stream, I think, earlier this week. And look at Pablo first of all. He says, "Hey, wait a minute. I'm black and I do a channel on my love for Latino culture." Yeah, thank you, Pablo. I'm gonna leave your comment highlighted here. And this is again, I'm not talking about all black people because I know the bulk of black people do not think like this gentleman. It's just a large group it's still a small group, but it's a large group of people that think like this gentleman. I'm gonna put this out there. Last time I checked, I was born an American citizen. I come from a US colony. Okay, but I still enjoy the Constitution because that's a God given right. If we live amongst black people, we are entitled by definition to talk about black people. That's just how it is. Okay? I don't see no complaints when we support black sports. I don't see no complaints when we purchase black people's rap concerts tickets. I don't see no rage and outrage when we love black comedians, black actors, black singers. I don't want to see any outrage and I don't want to see black tears when we're calling out the negatives what we don't like or that black people can do better. Okay. And this is the problem about being only, you know, focus on positive, positive, positive. Only give me positive feedback. I don't want any negative feedback. Well, sorry, honey, that's not the country you live in. You live in a country where free expression and freedom of speech is part of the Constitution. And I get it, it's not free of consequence. But what I'm doing is not hateful. I'm just talking about my opinion. If you don't like it, there is 34 million content creators that are way bigger than me. I'm just a very tiny speck in the YouTube scene. You can go over there and enjoy their content and leave me the hell alone. Okay, because the same can be said. My channel is called Latin Splaining. I wonder more what a person of the black community that thinks that I'm hateful towards black people. What are you doing on a Latin platform that's called Latin Splaining? Just unsub, unfollow. What you can see or you don't know can hurt you. Now, going back to what I was talking about, I personally uh, usually use myself as an example of things because of how fragile people are nowadays. So it's better to just use me as an example so that people don't get quote unquote triggered. But as a result of what me and Radical were discussing on our last stream, which was how comfortable some of the FBA sisters were around Nick Fuentes talking in racial slur, that for so many decades have been looked at with disgust. Because, I mean, this is my opinion. Not everybody thinks like that, but I think the N word is disgusting and should be left to be used by people that are non-decent people. Because not because we should regulate speech, you can say whatever you want to say. It's just that when you know something is distasteful and it brings other people memories of pain and suffering, I don't want to make people that I don't know and even people that I know think about those times. You have to be pretty like psychotic to actually enjoy using that type of words. But to each his own, and to people that love to use that type of slur, I mean, have at it. Right? So where we when we were discussing this, I also expressed the fact that we live in times of a lot of racial inspired hatred. And one of those things that we often don't talk about, I talk about how me personally, I was brought up to have more of like an anti-white sentiment. And even though there is a lot of reasons for that, I also said that I'm walking away from white hate because it makes no sense. So I don't feel any animosity towards white people. If they have in their character things that I don't like or qualities that I don't like, then I will say I don't like this person. But I refuse anymore to see the world in the light of how I was brought up based on colonization and abuses and stuff like that. Because I am trying to be a better human being. That's just my decision. If you want to be a human being that still harbors anger and hatred and you feel like you have justifications and an excuse for that, have at it. Again, it's your life. It's just not the way I see the world. I think we cannot ask for equality and try to destroy other people. Now, I spoke about that and I spoke about many other things uh, on Radical Latino stream, and I pointed out the fact that we're all racist because one way or the other, on the other, we all have animosity towards all the races or any other race. Thank you, Pablo, for sure. He says we should all walk away from hate. It's a part of maturity to begin to judge people on their individual character. Yes, absolutely. And that's how things get done. You want to bring people closer. You don't want to segregate yourself socially. So what I did was that I discussed this on Radical Stream, and I said, if you think about it, there is a dangerous time to be white right now because, and Radical pointed out something that's it's crazy because if you say Black Power, that's just celebrated socially. If you say brown power, it's also celebrated socially. But if you say white power, the FBI is gonna knock off your door. Okay, so like, come on, it is dangerous to be white today. Like, let's keep it real. We can laugh at it, but and like I said, the only reason I don't feel sad or bad about it necessarily as I would feel towards our people is because they work for that image. And it's the same way I feel about Latinos, it's the same way I feel towards Black people. Our images that are out there is because we either contributed to it or we let it happen. And white people have done the same. Their image has not been repaired after all the colonization, slavery, and abuse that they did. And then when they were slowly starting to become a little bit more benevolent in our eyes, Hitler happened. So their image has not had the best marketing. It's not our job to fix it, it's their job. Of course, there's going to be individuals like myself that we're going to see things for what they are, and we're going to not judge people based on propaganda and just judge people on how they are. Whatever you give me is what I will give you. And it's the same thing that I apply to Black folks. If you are an asshole that happens to be Black and give me asshole energy, I will give you asshole energy. I don't care about your image of all the stuff that your ancestry has gone through because that's not who you are. Okay? I'm going to take you as you come at me. And I'm not looking at your skin color, I'm just looking at your character specifically. And I think that's what we should strive for. Same with a Latino. How many Latinos, when I start calling out on the bullshit we do, start coming at me with a lot of disgusting attitudes? Well, I give what I get. If you come at me correct, I'm going to respond correctly. If you come at me with asshole behavior, I don't care that you're Latino and all this stuff we've gone through. That's not who you are today. Okay? So, again, there is a guy that did a stream responding to that stream that we made with Radical Latino. And I'm gonna try to avoid broadcasting the whole thing, but I'm going to address some of the stuff that he said. I've been asked to be on a panel with this individual. I do not, as I post on my community tab, I do not wish to be on streams with people that have these talking points because I've already done this several times and it's never the goal of the conversation is never to resolve the gap or the wedge between us and to embrace different points of views. It's only to enforce Black supremacy, in which Black people need to be seen only as benevolent and they have no negatives. And if you don't do that, they will shun you out of everything. They will not talk to you. They will act as a cult and they will try to throw mud at your name and blackball you. So I do not partake in talks with Black supremacists, just like I don't partake in talks with white supremacists. I dislike this type of talk. I like to talk with people that want to have a conversation with a goal. So I am sorry, I am not going to engage in a back and forth with this individual, but I will address certain things that he seems to skip alongside people that at some point were quote unquote our allies. And you guys be the judge. Do you think these people were allies to begin with or not? Now, this person that I'm going to talk about is called Mr. C, aka Black Effect. And before I start with his video, put a number one if you can see like his video. Before I start with his video, I'm gonna go to his comment section because there's something I want to address. There's some stuff that I will address. And it's the commentary that I don't even know how to call it, but I'm gonna read it. And this comment comes from Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican is my sister because she is a Puerto Rican Panamanian woman that I admire and respect and love. I've never had any other sentiment but love towards her. We just disagree on how she blames Latinos like myself and Radical for the wedge that's happening now on the black and brown unity spectrum instead of just calling out the black allies that we had and telling them, hey, it's your turn now to call out the clownery. She's rather telling me and Radical that we should just take it and shut up, in other words, right? That's the fine print of basically her stance. We should shut up and just take it. It's better to just not even point it out in order to preserve the unity. Which I'm sorry, I love you, Puerto Rican, I love you. But that standpoint that you've taken, I cannot partake. I disagree. I have my dignity. I don't owe Black Americans anything, and they don't owe me anything. The only thing that we owe each other is respect and decency. And that's not what we have gotten from this group. And until they come out and give us the decency that we are demanding and the respect, we're not going to keep partaking in conversations about unity. Because how can you be united with people that don't respect you? So, again, I'm going to read her commentary. She says, her name is Denise. Also, she's a Black Puerto Rican. Notice how she has to explain to this gentleman that I'm a Black person. She's just on the lighter side. Also, contributing to that. I don't know if you guys can see the clownery. I'm gonna blast it a little bit more so you guys can see it. But this is something that this is one of the things that make it super cringe. Because you have to explain to people that you're Black. People that think like this, because again, that's not the type of Black people that I know personally. The type of Black people that I know personally, you don't have to explain to them this stuff because they are extremely intelligent, they're articulate people, they're not low vibrational. You don't have to explain this stuff to them. You can just have a conversation with them and keep it moving. They can tell you, hey, you're doing this wrong. And you're like, oh, thank you for pointing it out. And you can tell them, hey, you're doing this wrong. And they keep it moving. So this is the type of people I will not engage in conversation with because they are low vibrational and they do not want to have any type of solutions or goals or anything like that. They just want you to shut up about it and just take it. So notice how she introduces first my race because that's what's valuable to people like this. Not my character, not what I stand for, not what I've said. It's just that I am Black, and even though I'm light, I'm Black, and that's how it is. So like diffuse, she's Black. So she says, also she's a Black Puerto Rican, she's just on the lighter side. But in the beginning, she didn't sound like this. Of course, because in the beginning, for people like Mr. C, Pana, and all of the African Americans that were on our group for union, we didn't sound like this because we were only focusing on the anti-Blackness from the Latino spectrum. People that hated Black people based on their race and never based on their character qualities. So of course we're not going to sound the same because we're telling Latinos you're pieces of crap for being racist, for being disgusting. for no other reason but just to be racist. She's like, but she said all the hate she was getting from FBA kind of pushed her to what she's thinking now. That is the only part that is correct. And that is the actual comment that she should have done. She said that all the hate she got from FBA pushed her to what she's thinking now. And that is factual. The FBAs have their hatred, which are the slow tips of the Black community, and our allies never called it out. I've spoken to some of our allies in private about this, and they say, "Oh yeah, no problem. We're gonna call it out." Never did. Crickets. It's what we get from them. This is the only part of the commentary that is factual. And she said, to be fair, she was defending African Americans in the beginning. Oh, Denise was defending African Americans for years. What do you get from that? No allyship. You also have to defend yourself against African Americans that are going to come at you with anti Latino sentiment. Because your allies in the Black community offer nothing. And some of them, and that's a conversation I have with Mr. Kevin C., which is why I think he's a clown. And I used to think that he was more on the intellectual side. And don't get me wrong, he's very intelligent. But when it comes to allyship and being with other people, zero. He's a child. Because he keeps, oh, what Latinos bring to the table? Well, we are allies. Are you an ally? Because last time I checked, an ally is basically the concept of friendship. And if you're not my friend, then how can we be allies? If you cannot even call out stuff on the social space online, you're the type of people that will get me killed. Like Malcolm X got killed, like Fred Hampton. All those people were set up by Black folks. And this is the type of Black folk that gets the kind of Black people like Malcolm and Martin and Fred killed. This is the type of people. This is the type of people that gets people like Malcolm, people like Fred, and people like Martin set up and killed, which is crazy to me. But she says, to be fair, she was defending African Americans in the beginning, and she was getting some hate from brothers and sisters. And mind you, she was getting hate from brothers and sisters. You see how she also points that out? But she doesn't say in brothers and sisters that say that they, and notice how she says, if you're defending Black Americans and you're an ally, why should you get hate from people? And mind you how she calls them brothers and sisters. Imagine getting hate from your siblings and then being told that you are the offensive one because you say, I refuse to take it anymore. So you're supposed to take it. This is the whole name of the stream. Latinos are just supposed to take it. No, ma'am. Again, Pana, I love you. You're my sister, and I will continue to love you. But you are wrong, sis. You are wrong. You are 1000% wrong. And notice how she says, and she was getting some hate from brothers and sisters, but I don't think this is the route she should have taken, especially since her husband is African American, ADOS. So basically, look, if you go, my husband barely goes on streams. And if you go to the streams that we've discussed this with Radical Latino, in which MK has popped up, a lot of people skip this part, but MK comes out and says, we have to admit where we're wrong. And he said many times to the Tari Queeners and the FBA cult, we need to stop attacking Latinos as a whole because there is factions in the Latino community that are pro-Black, and we're shooting at friends. So, Pana, in response to your take, my husband, that's African American ADOS, do not like the fact that African Americans, ADOS slash FBA slash freemen slash whatever you want to be, are attacking people like me and Radical Latino. He can speak for himself. Don't speak for him. He doesn't feel offended by the fact that I'm saying I'm not going to take it. And I get it. You didn't do this commentary with a malicious intent. I can see that. You're trying for us to find common ground, but this is not the way it is. But I will put a question out there. If you want to answer in the comment section, and I'll read it, we can have the conversation. If you think that the route of dignity, which is the route that I took, which is I'm not going to take the hate that you clearly put in this comment, that I was taking from the so-called brothers and sisters, if this is not the route that I should have taken, I want you to put in the comment section. This is a challenge. What is the route that you think I should have taken? I want you to tell me which route was that. What is the route that me and Radical should take, and all the Latinos that have been in this position now, what route should we take? Because I am not going to take a group of people that's talking crap about my community. If that's what this type of Black people, again, I cannot put all Black people in this because they're not all like this. But if in order for us to get along, I have to stab my people in the back and tell them to take this respect, then I'd rather not be allied to people like that. Because I will never do that. No self-respecting Latino will ever do that. And I cannot be called Latin-splaining if I'm asking my people to just be disrespected and take it. That's not who we are. That's just not who we are. So again, I want to know what type of route you think me and any self-respecting Latino that's living through the hatred day in and day out, what route should we take? Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Like I said, this is an impromptu stream, so of course I have to, you know, take care of some stuff. So yeah, Pana, put that in the comment section. What route is that? Now, below Pana's comment is a person that I considered, and I said past tense, not anymore, no more free passes. I used to consider this person like a brother, not anymore. I don't hate him. I don't have any animosity towards him. I just don't mess with him anymore. No more. 18 letter, better known as Rakim. He says, I do agree with Pan Rican 6046. Denise did not start out this way. She will claim her Afro heritage and defend ADOS/FBA. So again, he's basically pointing out, yes, she was a black Latina that constantly defended us for years. Obviously, I didn't start it the way I am right now because I was focusing once again on the Latino side. We were talking about unity, so we have to come correct to the table. And we cannot come correct to the table if our group is messing up. So we had to call out our own harshly. And you guys that have been rocking with me since I had 40 subscribers know that I came at my people and I still do harshly. Why? Because I love my people and I want us to succeed. So we have to call it out harshly. So again, he says, Denise didn't start out this way. She will claim her Afro heritage and defend ADOS FBA. So basically, he's saying that I'm negating my black side now. It's implied here. And I want people to point out and to bring, and I'm putting this challenge out for Rakim. Please, brother, can you please produce the video receipts in which I say I do not have Afro heritage? Please pull it out. Pull it out. I want to see it. Until you can produce that, stop trying to imply that I don't come from a black person too. Anyway, but then he goes out and says the same thing and confirms the same thing that we've been saying. He says, but down the line, I think she dealt with attacks from certain ignorant folks online. So again, you guys see the element of the discussion. Dealt with attacks from ignorant folks online. So it's the same thing that we saw on Pana when she said she was getting some hate from brothers and sisters. It's the same. And then Rakim says she dealt with attacks from ignorant folks online. But then they go ahead and this is our disagreement. This is the reason why he yells at me in several streams. He unsubscribes from stuff that I do. He has gotten so triggered because this is where we disagree. And she slowly started changing her views right along with Radical Latino. Again, I want to know if this is not the route, and this is for Rakim, just the same way I talked to Pana. If this route of dignity that I'm taking, if this is not the route that I should have taken and any self-respecting Latino should have taken, I want you, Rakim, the same way I did with Pana. What route do you think self-respecting Latinos should take when you, as an African American that proclaim yourself as an ally, try to ignore the attacks and justify them instead of calling them out? You saw the hate. Did you call it out? Maybe I can't see it. Maybe I'm blinded by my own emotions. And you made streams about why FBAs should abandon anti-Latino talking Maybe you did those streams. Maybe you did them and I didn't watch them because I was blinded by my own emotions. Please, brother, point them out. Put them down in my comments. Maybe I skipped those and I am wrong. And if I am, I will come out here and publicly apologize. Please point out your calling out of those ignorant folks that attack Latinos that are friendly towards Black folks, that hate racist Latinos, that hate anti Blackness on Latinos. Please point out what route should we take. Please. That's all I'm asking. But without further ado, let's hear the brother out. Let's hear the brother out. And I see, before I start, Pana Rick and What's Up sis, she says, first of all, you know what I'm talking about. No, Pana. All due respect, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, sis. Again, I want to know the route. She says, I've never said kiss AA's ass. I never said you said that. You said it, not me. You said that, not me. And I get it. It's starting to sound like you're starting to catch on what you're saying. What route? Again, I'm going to ask again without any animosity. If this route, which is I will draw from the table until you show me you're a real ally, which is what we're doing. Again, we don't hate Black Americans. We still support them. And if tomorrow they need something, we will be there. But my point is, why should it be on a table negotiating with people that are not willing to put any skin on the game? What route should we take? Please point that out. What route is that? I'm not going to read any more commentary from you unless you point out what stance, what should we do other than step out from the table until we are shown the same respect and the same effort we put in. Please point out the route. She says, first of all, you know what I'm talking about. I've never said kiss AA's ass, but I think it's highly disrespectful that you go at AA's constantly when you're married to one, especially when I don't know what else she was saying. She said, it's disrespectful for me to call out African Americans that used to be our friends on not calling out African Americans that are clowns. How is it disrespectful for us? Okay, let me ask you something. Do you felt disrespected when I was calling out the racist Latinos in the slow tabs? Do you feel disrespected then? Because I don't think that was disrespectful. And I have over 90 something videos about that. Did you feel disrespected about that, or are you only feeling disrespected when we're calling out FBA clownery? Because we're not calling out all Black Americans. Because all Black Americans don't subscribe to Tariq's bullshit. I think you're being more disrespectful than me because I'm not going at African Americans. I'm going at FBA. The topic has always been FB flipping A. No one is saying African Americans. We're talking about FBA. The problem is it turned into African Americans when our Black allies decided to take bullets from for FBAs, I'm sorry. So she's like, it's highly disrespectful that you go at AAs constantly. Am I going constantly to, again, majority of my comments and majority of my videos is Latino content. I go more harshly at Latinos because they're my people than I go at African Americans because they're not my community. I'm just an ally or a guest. So she continues and she says, when every stream you have now is bashing sessions for AAs. This it's starting to sound like the feminists. You're bashing women. You're bashing women. You're bashing. Now all of a sudden I'm bashing. You see how it goes always down this route. You're bashing because the question remains unanswered. What route should we have taken, or what route should we take in order for us to still maintain a position of dignity while taking anti Latino sentiment brewing in a cult of tens of thousands of people from the Black sector? What should be our response? What should we do? Should we wait till the sticks come out and we get wooden shampoos? Please enlighten me. I'm lost. She says, this isn't the platform. And she's like, Denise, have a nice day. Have a nice day, Pana. Again, I still love you. We just disagree. And then she goes, this is not the platform for me anymore and don't want to interfere with your stream. I'm wrong. See, guys, this was it. Typical response. I'm going to withdraw because I'm not getting positivity pushed into my system. And I won't be challenged because I have that FBA mindset drilled into my brain. No resistance. I'm not gonna get any form of resistance from no one. So I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to go away to where I can hear extreme positivity and no criticism to any black group, because that's not what we do. They suffered enough. We're not supposed to tell them when they're messing up. That's some I'm sorry about what I'm going to say, but if you're a self-respecting black American, this is not your friend. A friend tells you the truth. I've had friends like this that told me and still tell me, because you guys know I'm fat and I've said it many times. I have some of my friends that have told me you're beautiful in any size. Those friends know I'm killing myself with my fat, but because they know that fat people are shamed in the public, they don't want to further offend me, so they coddle me. They are not being my friends because a friend wants to see me live and be the best version of myself. My friends are the ones that tell me, hey, we have to hit the gym, you're fat. A friend is the one that slapped the cupcake out of my hand and tells me you're fat enough, you're not supposed to be eating that crap. Who tell you you need to eat that? That's my friend. But I guess in this era, that is not called friendship anymore. A friend is only supposed to encourage you in your delusional journeys, no matter how crazy they sound, because that's just the way it is, and that's true friendship, and that's nonsense. But that's not me. I'm not that way. Maybe I'm the one that has the wrong crowd here. That's just not the way I am. And that's not the friendship I offer. So by all means, if that doesn't align with your values, I understand you cannot take criticism. Please, yes, unsubscribe. I have no problem with that, and I won't get it against you. But black folks, this type of people are not your friends. I'm just putting it out there. You're gonna discover in 40 years. If you follow this type of people that cannot tell you, hey, you're messing up, in 40 years you'll be wrong. You'll be and again, who's to say that that's not up? Just putting it out there. That's just how it is. But let's continue. Let's hear out what the brother has to say about this. Again, fair use, fair use, fair use.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, everybody? Good morning to everyone. I know it's not exactly last minute, but a little. Okay, so today we will be talking about the radical Latino
Baby, will you close the
and
door?
Desiree, which is one of his guests. His common, she's on there a lot. I think I'm pronouncing the young lady's name correctly. Um, my apologies if I'm saying the wrong name, or I think I caught it, but I see her go on there all the time. So anyway, all right.
Look, let's start by the obvious. Imagine a person. Oh my god, this is so cringe. Imagine a person, and again, I've only watched like 5 to 7 minutes um of this stream. Uh, Look, imagine a person that's going to debate your talking points, and they were so so much animosity, woof woof woof, that they did not even manage to hear your name correct. Should we take this person seriously? But let's continue because I've talked enough. Let's continue with the conversation.
So they're covering Tariq Nasheed, and Tariq Nasheed covering the Nick Fuentes on Fresh and Fit, you know,
Again, fair use, fair use, fair use.
debacle, right? Now, I want to say this, and I want to reiterate my title once again. It's about power, right? Now, why I start the title, or why I start this off with "It's about power," is because Desiree and Radical Latino, but
Once again, the name is Denise.
definitely Desiree, continues to talk about hate. She's not for hate. She's not for hate, right? When the rest of the panel jumps on, because she's the first one to jump on, someone asked the question, and she's like, I have a problem with the hate, right? You get everybody's a little racist. Everybody has their preferences, but it's the hate that's the problem, ma'am. No one cares about no damn hate, particularly in the black community. The black community understands that there are white people, Latinos, Asians, Arabs, South Asians, East Asians, indigenous folks that hate black people. That's not
Okay, you see how he contradicts himself. He says the black community doesn't care about the hate. Okay, then if you don't care about the hate, why do you have terms like tether being put out there? If it's never about the hate, if it's never about the hate, how is it that you're out here talking about Latinos when we have little to no power in this country? Do y'all realize that we don't have, we're not in a position of power? But let's continue. I like, hey, Mulatto Vanguard, and he says Mr. C is Haitian. He's not even FBA ADOS. You know what's crazy, Mulatto Vanguard? And I'm going to put this out there, and I want you guys to look out for this stuff. People that are actually Black Americans don't go as hard at this ideology as non Black Americans. It's kind of like they're trying to earn like their golden ticket to the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory type of stuff. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to win like an extra chocolate bar. Like, I don't know what they get out of it, but like they go, like when they turn into this ideology, they go harder. It's kind of like what I was discussing with Puerto Rican. They go harder, and it's cringier than when an actual African American goes at it because they're not as emotionally invested. But let's continue to listen to this because it's crazy. But let's continue to listen to this brother. I'm not gonna listen to the whole thing because of course he's super cringe. But I'm gonna listen to a few minutes and just try to finish the stream. But fair use, fair use.
Not the issue. Do you have the power to do something and get away with it? Do you have the power to harm black people? Right? Att- uh, Attempting to appeal to someone so that they don't hate you puts them in the power position. The vast majority of black people do not care about who hates them and who doesn't. This is not about hate. This is about power, man. This is about power. It's always been about power.
Now he's so backwards. Hey Roches, this is the problem with him. When I talk about hate, I talked about, let's put this out there. I know you guys have heard a lot like race is a social construct. It's because we're talking about that you don't see a lot of regulations that trampled over people today being done today that are based on race. And if I'm mistaken, please point them out. Today in 2023, I don't see regulations that are being done to trample people based on their race. So when we talk about racism, at this point, we have to talk about social issues, social interactions, because it's normal black, white, brown, and whatever people that are having preconceived notions about one another. So we're talking about a social setting. You don't know that I am not 100% black until you see me. But you cannot make that assessment because if you make that assessment to certain folks, they will deny it and deny it and deny it and deny it. But if you see me down the street, you're gonna think I'm not a fully black person. You're gonna think she's mixed. Some people even go as far as think that I am white, which I am not. So race is a social construct because it influences how socially we interact with one another. Just by looking at someone, you can decide if you're going to listen to them, if their points are valid, and so on and so on and so on. You're going to determine if they're racist or not, depending on how they look. I've proven this many times. When I say things and I talk about how we have to eradicate black people that are criminal from killing black people that are productive, which is usually what black and black crime stands for, I get hatred as if I'm anti black. But if a black person says it, they're not racist, which is crazy because at the end of the day, me and the black person that talks about black and black crime, we're both trying to preserve black people of substance from getting freaking killed by lowlifes. So again, let's continue to listen to the brother, what he has to say.
Right? It's always been about power and it will always be about power. Whether white people hate black people or not is inconsequential for the most part. And attempting to change whether an individual white person or white people as a group hate black people is pointless. Right? Can they harm you? Right? This is about power.
Well, it won't be about power because black people have killed Latinos out here, and Latinos have killed black people out here. So it's murder, harm. So technically, it's not necessarily about power. It's just social interactions. Can I kill a black person? Can a black person kill me? Yes. So we can harm one another. So we can be racist. Stop the cap. Hate needs to stop. It's all about the hate. We don't need to hate on one another. I've said it many times, and we don't need to hate white people. These whites today have not done anything to me. Unless they personally do something to me, I'm not gonna hate them. I don't care how I was raised. I disagree with that. You can kick, scream, punch the air, yell into a pool, or swim off in the ocean. I'm not gonna hate them. Sorry. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
right? This is about power. So, continuing. Um, you know, so Radical says something, and he calls, I guess the Tariq Nasheed types fake pro blacks. Um, I think we got to be careful speaking this way because there are true pro black people who take this very serious. Um, and Radical says something. He's like he alludes to the fact that George Zimmerman is still around, and what are you black people going to do? What are y'all gonna do? Y'all not gonna do anything. So why y'all talking? I would be careful speaking like that, especially as a Latino person, especially as a person who comes from.
Oh, here we go. This is it's the first kind of like needle that he pins in. Oh, they I love how people like him always sneak that shit in. It's like they usually the minute you disagree, they take your black card. So in response to what Pana and Rakim were saying, oh, like Afro heritage here. Can you guys inform the brother that Radical and me have black fathers? Can you inform that to the brother? Do we even have to inform that to the brother? I thought y'all recognized us by seeing us. I thought y'all were the educated ones and we were the low IQ ones. I thought it was a slow tech mindset to not be able to see that people are mixed with black people. I'm telling you, this is the real anti-black sentiment because we're taking black Latinos and attacking them. And if you can't see that, this is the real anti-black sentiment. This type of black person is the real anti-black. You can try and say, "Oh no, you don't have African heritage." Screw you. How dare you try to erase my father and my grandpa and my grandma from me? I'm telling you, this is the real anti-blackness. But let's continue to hear him out because how dare you talk? It's like they're always trying to. This type of people, it's like they're always trying to look for that gotcha thing. Oh, like gotcha, found you out of bounds. You're not supposed to talk because you're not black. So step out. Can Amara La Negra speak out about black issues in America? She's not black enough, or she's too dark, or she speaks Spanish, so she can't. Come on, man. Like, this is ridiculous. Let's just continue. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
A culture that worships the ground that white people walk on, I would be very careful about telling black people what would they do. I watch Latinos flee countries ruled by white dictatorial powers. The whole cabinet is a bunch of white corruption. I would be very careful saying to black people, what are you going to do about it? And egg them on when I can't go to a Latino country anywhere in the Caribbean or in South America where it's not a white oligarch or a white dictatorial power, him or his son or his grandson running things.
Well, I'll give you one, Mr. C, Nicaragua. Have you seen the dictator in Nicaragua? Can somebody inform this man that he needs to go and Google all the presidents of Latin America? Oh my God, this is so great. I'm not gonna even try to school you on that, bro, but I will advise, like, if you're gonna talk, I love when non-Latinos talk about Latinos and they know what they're talking about. Like they actually have the factual information, even if they have a different take on the same information that we both have read. That means that let's say they read the history of Puerto Rico and they think different than me, and we can have a debate because we differ on the way we see it. I love that. What I don't appreciate is like you You're talking out of your butt, and you don't know what you're talking about, because there is plenty of non-white rulers in Latin America. Plenty. Just because they look lighter than you, that does not mean they are white. Just like I'm not white and Radical is not white. Jesus H. Christ. Let's continue.
right? Where their family is not all in the
Oh, fair use, fair use, fair use.
cabinet, still running things for generations. I would be careful goading black people with what are you going to do about it? Nothing. I would be careful. All right. Particularly, seeing the fascists that have come out of Latin America, the dictators that have come out of Latin America.
Okay. He's talking about fascist dictators. Dude, can somebody tell Mr. C that CNN is not a reliable source of information? Dictators? Lord. Last time I checked, Nicolás Maduro, which is one of the so-called dictators of Latin America, is so white. Like, please look him up. If somebody, please, can somebody look up Nicolás Maduro? Please, just look him up and tell me if that's a white dude to you. That's one of the dictators. Okay, I'm not, again, Nicaragua. Go look him up, and that's one of the Let me just shut up. Let's continue to listen to the brother that claims to know so much and is trying to tell us to go back into the dinner closet and shut up about it and take it. Let's just listen to him. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
America, the slaughter of indigenous folks, black folks, right, coming out of Latin America, I would be careful, right? So, let's let's be careful saying things like that, right? What are black people going to do? Nothing. Oh, were Latinos known for going at white people? Where?
Oh my God. This is getting worse. Okay, brother, I'll give you a piece of advice, Mr. C. Your country only fought the Spaniards after Mexicans weakened their army. Don't take my word for it. Just please look it up. The United States did not won any freaking war over Spain until after Mexicans risked their lives and fought them off of their country. The same happened all throughout Latin America. There's a reason why Latin America is not an extended US or an extended France or an extended Latin America is a conglomerate of 34 independent republics that are run in different ways. Some are communist, some are not, some are democratic, some are not, because they fought white colonizers out of their country. What the hell are you talking about? Jesus H. Christ, this is cringe. But let's continue. Once again, I love to debate, I love differences of opinion, but please do it after you read at least, and I've quoted this book a lot of times to people. Open Veins of Latin America is a must. At least read that one, and then we can have a conversation. In the meantime, please don't talk about Latin America. Don't look like a fool. Let's continue to listen to him. Fair use, fair use.
Back in the home country? No. In America? No. Right? I would be careful.
Okay. In America, oh my God. Dude, go look how in America, I have a stream that is called I believe Latinos not affected by Jim Crow, something like that. I want you to go and see what that's about. I want you to go and see what that's about, because Latinos have a lot of fights against Black Americans. I'm sorry, white Americans. I'm sorry, a lot of fights. I want you to go watch, and that's why I have my platform. My platform is to bring awareness not only to the diaspora to talk about our issues happening in Latin America, which you could learn a lot from it if you would just pay attention. But since you don't, and you just want to talk about Latinos and project what you do upon people like us that have actually read about Black Americans, that are very informed, we just have different opinion on certain things. I want to know, why don't you come? I think you should become a sub. Become a subscriber. Watch all the hours. I have over 200 hours of content regarding Latinos and Latin American countries, and how the empire works, and how certain things are happening in Latin America, how poverty works, and other things. Just go ahead and read and listen to that. But if you want to go down to it, there's two streams that you can read. I mean, that you can listen to. PL 94311, which establishes that Latinos do not want it to be identified as white, and we had to fight for that, and we created our own civil rights, drafted, and I give credit to Black Americans because that's something that we grifted from them in order to fight the whites and separate from them, because we were classified whites since we're Spaniards bastards. So we renounced to whiteness. Have you? And as if that isn't enough, we gave you, fighting the whites, we gave you interracial marriage, Paris versus Sharp of 1947. No one did it before. And that was what? A Mexican woman and a what? Let me hear it. A Black man. It wasn't white Sadi that gave you that. It was us. You're welcome. Now, as if that isn't enough, Mendes versus Westminster. Was not that a fight against white people? Have you read the history of the border? Have you read about it? Huh? I think this guy, it's so crazy. But I will tell you something. There was a time in history, and I'm gonna turn into a teacher. I should start this teacher capsules for people like this. In 1917, in the early 1900s, late 1800s, Mexicans and Central Americans will come into this country, and they will be bathed in kerosene because they were seen as dirty and filthy and contagious. So if they wanted to come here, they needed a competency test. They needed to be classified as luggage. They needed to be showered, bathed on kerosene, disinfected, whatever, whatever, at the border. Women were supposed to be stripped of their clothes. Pictures of them were taken by white people, and some of those naked Latina bodies were displayed at bars all throughout the West so that white men could see them. And that's how we have the Carmelita Torres riots. She refused to do that. You are 1000% uneducated on Latino issues, and that's why you keep looking like a clown out here. People like this will continue to fail. I look any type of credible source of information, or I will never have a debate with this type of individual because they don't know what the heck they are talking about. They're just babbling stuff because they are triggered and they get offended and they're fragile and their butt hurt. None of it is factual. But let's continue to listen to the brother. Fair use, fair use.
right? So Desiree says something like FBA is an ideology, it's not a lineage. Okay. Um, you know, is there a distinction, what a difference really between FBA and ADOS? Yes. I would like some clarification on that. Is she saying FBA as in like the Tariq Nasheed led kind of group of Black American descent of American slavery, right? Or is she just saying being born in America, being um, your lineage going back to American plantations?
Notice how this. Do you guys remember when? Yeah, he keeps calling me this, right? Because again, he's just motivated. He got so triggered by my talking points. He was clearly hate watching Radical Latinos stream. So he got so triggered that he had to do a stream last minute, and he just didn't call me by my name. But I'm not gonna take offense to it. I mean, anyone can be mistaken. Let's just keep it real. But how many times, guys? Again, I said it at the beginning of the stream, and I'm gonna say it again. This is the 19th time on record that I'm gonna explain, and this is an honor to Mr. C. Mr. C. I've said 18 times before now. This is number 19. That when we speak about FBA, Foundational Black American, we're talking about the concept and the ideology that Black Americans descend from the 100 people that freed themselves from Spaniard conquistadors in the South, which is not true. Y'all don't descend from those 100 people. I'm not saying that what I'm disputing is your resilience at fighting the white plantation masters. I'm talking about the FBA ideology. If you cannot differentiate the two, I've explained it. This is the 19th time. Again, I cannot continue down this trend. Figure it out. But let's continue to listen to the brother because I'm getting a little tired of listening to this, but I'll try to hold on as much as possible. Fair use, fair use.
Right? Coming off of the west coast of Africa, being bought across the Atlantic, and being dropped off in America and being enslaved in America is not a lineage. It is a ideology. Is if she's saying that, then I 100% categorically reject what she's saying. If she's saying that it's an ideology, as in what Tariq Nasheed and the group of his followers are on, that I would also be careful in saying that as a non first of all, a non-black person. Secondly,
Uh-oh. Dropped it in there once again. Even though Tariq Nasheed is wrong, and he knows it because he makes a distinction. I don't know if you guys catch on that. Even though he made the distinction amongst the two, which is what we've been saying this for the longest time. Even though he knows Tariq Nasheed is wrong, still be careful because I'm a non-black person. You guys catch that? Do we need further proof that these people see me, radical and stuff, as other, even though we do have black heritage? And this is, look, stop divorcing your online persona. I've said this since I started online. This is who you are. It's just online, you have no restrictions. Out there, you have to regulate because it can cost your life or at least something. But Stop trying to divorce your online persona. You are who you are online. Online, you have no restrictions, no consequences, at least not real ones. But this is how these people see people like myself. So when people are like, no, you're welcome to the cookout, we're the most welcoming, the most warming, uh, a sector of Black Americans are super welcoming, super nice, super chill. They're very good people and they will welcome anyone as long as you're respectful and decent. But there's a large sector that's like this dude. Let's just, well, let's just look at Royces. He said, Denise, you're speaking about feathers, not blacks in general. No, I'm not speaking about Black Americans in general. I'm speaking about like morons like this one that happen to be black people. I'm not talking about black people in general. Never have. So let's continue to listen to what he's talking about. Fair use, fair use.
A non-ADOS FBA black person, right? I would be careful saying that.
So even though you're right, but it cannot come from you. It has to come from us. So again, Latinos cannot call you out. Afro Latinos cannot call you out. Mixed Latinos cannot call you out. Black people cannot call you out if they're not ADOS or FBA. Other FBAs cannot call you out. So who can call out the nonsense and the xenophobia? Who can? I don't know. It's so weird, but let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
You know, we have to be careful in engaging in this conversation, and this is what makes other people of color engaging in conversation about ADOS FBA particularly dangerous. It's because they're not black, particularly when you get outside of like the Northeast.
They're not black. He reiterates the lack of blackness. And it's dangerous. Look at why he says it's dangerous. And I'm starting to oh, I'm starting to get tired of listening to this guy. But it's dangerous because you're not black. So it's dangerous that you have an opinion. Could it be dangerous that he has an opinion that's deeply flawed based on just his opinion as context on Latinos? Could that be dangerous? Or it's just that his opinion I disagree with, or it's whack, or it's not based on facts? It's not dangerous. I'm not posing any type of danger. You're being ridiculous. But let's continue. Let's continue. Fair use. Fair use.
And some of the West Coast, because they're not black, they're one or two rungs above Black American ADOS FBA on the racial hierarchy. And so you have to ask yourself, do they really have a problem with white supremacy, or do they have a problem with their
So he says that it's dangerous because we are one or two lines above black people in the racial hierarchy. Oh my god, this is so cringe. This is so okay, guys. I want to ask a question to my viewers. Let me ask y'all something. If America was to be segregated today, back like the old days, mixed people like myself that clearly have black features. Just because I still press my hair, don't mean my hair is not texture. Don't mean I'm not black. Like the color of my skin doesn't come from aliens, comes from blackness. Do mixed people were still segregated, or they were on the white side? Will I be on the white side? Let's just keep it like, come on, guys. It's dangerous because we rank two lines above black people in the racial hierarchy. I'm gonna tell you guys why this is dangerous for black folks. Uh, it's dangerous because I particularly don't see black people as inferior. I see black people as my equal. That's how I see them. So, well, tell that to Triton. Tell that to Roberto Clemente. He's Puerto Rican too. Uh, so again, one thing that I'm gonna put out there. I'm not the one positioning you below me. I don't see you as inferior. I see you as equal. But one thing that I found that is very dangerous from this type of black person is that they constantly want to be at the bottom, constantly want to be at the bottom of the barrel. And that's what they use terms like that. You're superior than me. Okay? If we are superior than Black Americans, I want Black Americans that think this way to also come to the comment section with links. I don't want your opinion based on your ask. I want links to census data, to economics data, in which what sector of this country do we have dominated over black people? Because last time I checked, there's 11% of y'all in entertainment versus 5.6% of us in entertainment. There's only 1% of us in politics versus almost 9% of y'all in politics, and so on, and so on, and so on. So, how can we be up in the racial hierarchy versus black folks? Well, the answer has to be what I said before. We're talking about social interactions. And in those, black folks that think like you are putting themselves in that position because we don't see y'all below us. We share neighborhoods, schools, issues, culture, foods, music. How can we share that if you were on worse neighborhoods than ours, or had worse schools than ours, or were below us? You're equals. Now, do we have a family structure that's a little stronger? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a topic for another stream, but that does not mean you're below us. Black Americans are making more money than us. Just because you blow it on Jordans or baby's cologne, that doesn't mean that you're below us. Stop the cap. You're positioning yourself in that category. That's just how it is. Royce says, no, they are referring to the I know black syndrome, Denise, I think, when they say that. Well, Royce, I don't think that's what he's referring to. He's referring to the fact that we should not talk about certain black issues because we don't understand what it is to be at the bottom. As if majority of us don't have to come out here with no papers. Puerto Ricans are blessed to have papers. Majority of us here are not even legally. What are you talking about? That's what he's talking about. Let's just keep it real. That's what he's talking about. We really have no power because majority of us are not even legally here. And you can say whatever the hell, but even dreamers are not legally here. They're here on a guest pass. Trump proved that. Come on now. Now let's continue.
with their level, right, under white supremacy? Do they have a problem with the hierarchy for real? Or do they have a problem with their position in the hierarchy? Right? This is a question for us to really ask the Latino community. Because black people already understand that many Latinos want to maintain the hierarchy. They like the whitest of white at the top and the blackest of black on the bottom, right? And you got the mestizos and you got the mulattoes and you have the indigenous folks, right? and then you have the blacks all the way on the bottom. We understand that. We can see that from the countries that you come from, and then we can see that on how you replicate the racial hierarchy in America. I would like to direct you to Nuri Martinez. Oops.
He thinks this was a gotcha thing. Guys, oh my god. It's Nori, and I wanted to put a number one in the chat. If you think Nori Martinez is a white woman, like she can pass for white, like, if you will confuse, like if you cannot tell Nori Martinez from Jennifer Aniston or Reese Witherspoon, just put those two together, which is white people, and tell me if you could differentiate Marjorie Taylor Greene from Nuri Martinez. Can you tell that she's Latina, or you can see her and you say, oh, those are two white women. Put a number one in the chat if she passed for a white woman. You can confuse her with Marjorie Taylor Greene, or number two if you think this guy is just delirious and delusional because she clearly looks Latina. She clearly looks mixed with indigenous. Put a number two in the chat if I'm right. Put a number one if you say, oh, I can tell apart Nuri Martinez from Angelina Jolie. Please put a number one in the chat if Mr. C is right. Put a number two if I'm right. Because this is, look, race has become clownery in the circus in America. If I stand next to a chocolate sister, people will say that I am white. She will probably think I'm white because I'm a few lighter than her, few shades lighter than her, but I am not. That's just how things are. And if I stand next to Angelina Jolie, she will say that I'm black because I'm several shades darker than her. That's how race operates in America. It's no longer based on factual things. That's just how it is. Well, Roy says, what race did Mr. C thinks I am? He clearly thinks I'm not even mixed with white, with black. So he obviously there's only two more races, and those are Mongolian and white. So come on, guys. I want to see the ones or twos. Is Mr. C right? Is if Nuri Martinez can pass for white? Put a number one in the chat. If Nuri Martinez can, you can clearly tell she's a Latina. Put a number two in the chat. This guy, and the way that he's like, oops. I see that there's a two. A mulatto says two. She looks like a typical woman, Hispanic woman in Los Angeles. Absolutely. Afro Diaspora News also says number two. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, are like retarded. And I'm talking about the people that thinks like this dude. Retarded. And I want to say something other than that. Should we judge all black people based on the actions of one black person that's in power? Can we judge all of y'all as hateful towards Latinos because of Obama and what he did at the border and the fact that he put us in cages? Or that's just Obama? Come on now. Yeah, I know, Daniel Valencia, but that proves my point. He says, indigenous in Latin America see all non indigenous as white, no matter the skin color, unless they're immediate Afro descendants, sort of how continental Africans see mixed people. Yeah, absolutely. It's that you're, thank you for making this point, Daniel Valencia. That's how race has become. Race is a social construct 1000% because it's based on how I see the world compared to myself. That's literally how it is. If you look lighter than me, you're immediate white. If you're darker than me, you're immediately black, and that's how it is. That's just how it is. I see Roy Shez says, Mr. C will not say you're not black. No, he literally said two times that I'm not black, and then I'm also not Black Americans. He never said that I am black. That's why Puerto Rican, I think you were not on the stream yet. That's what Puerto Rican and Rakim had to explain to him that I'm a black person still. So yeah, he did say that I'm not black. He also said Radical is not black, even though we both have black fathers. Um, so again, Roy says, I'm not talking about how it began. He says race is definitely not a social construct. It began in the field of biology. No, I said, okay, racism is a social construct, which is using your race to segregate or treat people in a different way. So yeah, racism is a social construct. Your race, obviously, not. It's science. But the fact that I use that, it's kind of like saying like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna treat every people that has a deficiency of vitamin D different. So I'm gonna be a vitamist, and there's certain tells, your skin, like your pores start looking like strawberry like when you're deficient of vitamin C and stuff. So the concept of the vitamin supplements and minerals that you need to be alive and have a good quality of life and a good immune system are science based, but my treatment towards you socially is a social construct. I hope that that clarifies that for you. So let's continue to listen to this guy and in his cringe stuff. We're only 3 minutes, no, 8 minutes in. Let's continue. And like I said, Nuri Martinez, again, you can watch my stream on Nuri Martinez. Don't compare me to Nuri Martinez. Just like I said, don't compare me to AOC. Let's continue.
right?
Fair use, fair use.
We understand that, right? So, listening in, it's very clear and evident the schism between Black people, particularly Black Americans, and the Latino community. I would like to also remind Radical Latino, Desiree, and the panel, this coalition is not real. We understand that, but it's also being forced from the outside.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna explain to. I'm gonna explain to Mr. C. Oh my God, this guy is cringe. Mr. C, the coalition amongst Black Americans and Latinos, its inception began in the 1940s, when, at least from what I know, when Puerto Ricans started being rejected and treated like scum, and they had to live in the neighborhoods that were available to them, which were the same ones as Black Americans. And they had to interact with one another without knowing one another. Alliances forged, and specifically Puerto Ricans united with Black Americans thanks to Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers. And that group, so you can look it up, it's called the Young Lords. And there's a reason why Puerto Ricans and Black Americans share the disposition and disadvantages of the crack crisis that was infiltrated by COINTELPRO. Find me a young lord today. Just like I said, find me a real Black Panther today. So again, I don't think the white system that you're talking about pushing for the coalition, I don't think that white system likes when we get along, but by all means, have at it. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
I would like to direct you to that leaked Biden tape where he told Black people you're going to have to get with Latinos to get anything done, right? The fact that we have, what, 16, 17% of the U.S. population being Latino, most of that of Mexican descent or South American descent, Central American descent, really Central American descent, Mexican and then Central American, and yet you don't really see that represented too much on television. They don't hold too many offices outside of maybe South Florida, a couple.
Oh, he just proved my point. What did I say earlier, guys? This guy said that we are at the bottom as black folks, and we are two lines above in the racial hierarchy. Let me remind you, the racial hierarchy was basically how the pie was going to get distributed. If you were black, you were going to get the crumbs and the trash. And if you were white, you were going to get the pie fresh out of the oven, and you could have it as much as you want and then leave the rest for the people in the middle, which is basically brown people or mixed people or biracial people. And then they will take from whatever's left and then give it to the blacks. That's not how it's going on right now, because he just said it, that we don't have power, significant power in this country, even though we're a larger bloc. So he's so cringe. He's literally proving and disproving himself constantly, contradicting himself. You're criticizing us, and we're the that's black supremacy again. I shall not be questioned. I shall not be criticized. That's what white folks like. Okay, if you were to talk about white folks in the past or do something, or if a white woman will say, oh, a black dude did something to me, what will happen in the past when white supremacy was in its splendor? That's what we're seeing now from black people like Mr. C, is that they're trying to be black supreme, and that's not healthy. I'm sorry, I'm not going to bow down to that. That's wrong. So he just admitted, yes, we are not in a position of power. Let's continue.
Coming from the Northeast and definitely coming from the West Coast, mainly Southern California. Outside of that, nope. That's not by accident. That's white people also showing you they're not going to let you run things either. Yikes. And that you could throw black people under the bus all you want. That means
How, again, Mr. C, how are we throwing black people under the bus when you have more power than us? Let's continue.
means nothing for your power position. Once again, your power position, Desiree. This is not about hate. It's very interesting listening to these other people of color talk, these non-black people talk about white people, and y'all always get to hate because y'all are the ones that want to be anointed in bed by white folks. Y'all are the ones who want your little mestizo children, your little mulatto children, right? You're the one obsessed with whether white people.
Can someone inform Mr. C that I don't have a mestizo or mulatto child? Can somebody inform Mr. C that I don't value the color of the skin of people to base judgment on them? Now, do I prefer me a black guy? Absolutely. That's why I have a black husband. But that's just my preference. I find it sexy, I find it attractive, that's what I like, and I'm entitled to date and be with who I like. Now, that's not going to produce the children that he's talking about, nor I care about that. Can somebody inform Mr. C of that? He's ridiculous right now. Not everybody values race as much as he does. Now let's continue.
People hate you or not because you really rather them not, because you want to be elevated by them. When it's not about hate, it's about power. And most of you will not be Jeb Bush's wife. right? If y'all don't know, the former governor of Florida married a Latina, is married to a Latina, right? Most of you won't be Osario Cortez, Alexandria Osario Cortez.
Oh my God. Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Oh, look, this guy right here. I'm starting to see that he's just motivated by emotions and he doesn't respect people's names. Bruh, it's Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Jesus Christ, just like I'm not Desiree, I'm Denise. Lord have freaking mercy. Let's continue.
With your white redhead boyfriend, right? It's fascinating to watch these people punch down on black folks.
Here we go. This is I'm being worn out. Okay. In order for you to, and I'm gonna give you an analogy on, do you guys remember the Revenge of the Sith when Anakin and Obi-Wan were fighting? Before Obi-Wan struck and took Anakin's legs, let me ask y'all something. What Obi-Wan told Anakin Skywalker, to all my Star Wars fans, right? What Anakin told, what Obi-Wan told Anakin Skywalker before he did that, when Anakin was on that lava river, what he told Anakin, he said, I have the higher ground. It's done. Basically, don't attack. I will strike you down. So once again, when people like Mr. C that love being the victim of the story, he fell in love with being a victim. When this type of folks claim that we're punching down, I'd like to remind you, sir, for Latinos to freaking punch down on black people, we have to have more power. And you literally said less than 60 seconds ago that you have more power than us, you idiot. Oh my God, I cannot. Stop trying to be a victim. That's disrespectful to the black people that go day in and day out to universities across this country to earn their degrees and become the people in positions of power. You're disrespectful to black people when you say that they are below everybody else. When there's a lot of black excellence and they're in positions of power. You have even accomplished to put a black man in office, whether he did what you wanted or not. Black people did that. Stop the cap. Stop undermining black progress. I hate this. I hate this talking point. Stop punching down. We're not above you. Repeat it with me. We are not above you. You just said it. So stop. I'm tired of the victim competition that these people have. Stop. This is nonsense. Nonsense and more nonsense. I am so tired about this. So tired. Oh, stop punching down. If I hear that one more time, I'll exit the conversation. And this is the reason why, guys. I said at the beginning of the stream, I will not debate people that are not my equal in understanding and being assertive to things. This is what happens when you respond from a position of emotions. because you come out with contempt for other people. In this case of Latinos, you have contempt for Latinos. So you assume that everybody that disagrees with you are doing it because they hate black people. No, we see black people as excellence. We see black people for what they've done. We see black people for their journey. We just disagree on the way you carry your personal blackness today. Stop trying putting that on your ancestors. They didn't fight all the stuff they fought off. They didn't took all the killings, all the lynchings, all the abuse, all the desecration, all the emasculation, all the desecration of black women's bodies, so that you can come out here and play victim, trying to use their stories to emulate and get stuff from people that you are not working for. Stop doing that to your ancestry. That's disrespectful. If they had your opportunities and you were this is the type of people that should have been back in those times, and then bring back the people that were in those times. If they had your opportunities, they won't be thinking about what people that are not even legal in this country in its majority are doing. They will be thinking about how we're going to make our people great in this foreign land we were put in by force. They had no concerns, and they had no time to think about us. And yes, we were here already. Stop. I am so freaking tired of this nonsense. Oh, punching down on black people. No, we're not punching down on black people. We can't punch down on you. We're below. And that's why you want to squash our voices. Well, guess what? We won't be silenced. We will not. Now, let's continue.
While saying, and I'm going to get to this now, while saying the problem with white folks is that they have a horrible image. No, they've done horrible things to have a horrible image. They've done horrible things on this planet to have that horrible image. They're not doing anything to resuscitate their image. They like being the barbarians that they are, the ones of them that are that way. They would much rather have the racial hierarchy that they have and the horrible image than to not have the power that they have. They'll take the horrible image if it comes with power.
Now, I'm gonna try to find something. This idiot. I'm gonna remove this real quick, and I'm gonna go to radical stream. I want you guys to hear what I say when I talk about the white image. He's basically trying to educate me as to where white people got that image, and how it happened and the reasons why. And I want you guys to listen to my reasoning, and tell me what's the difference between when he says it and when I say it. Because that seems to be the topic here. I'm gonna play it from Radical Strength. Look, I'm gonna say something very controversial, and I know people are not gonna understand what I'm saying, but I'm still gonna say it. I think until white folks stop teaching white hate, until they come out and they repair their image, because I get it, a lot of whites are not like those disgusting whites that we see being racist. I get that, but the problem is that those whites need to start repairing the white image, because we've had 700 years of a poor image of white people as
Yeah.
brutalizers, violent
No, you're right.
murderers,
You're right. You're absolutely
thieves.
you're absolutely right, because black folks could come out here. Black folks could come out here and talk about black power, and nobody says nothing.
Yeah,
Latinos could talk about brown pride, brown power. Nobody says nothing.
yeah, it's a
White
dangerous.
people, white people
Yeah,
go white power. Get him. He's a rich. And no,
look,
and it's true what you're saying. White
yeah.
folk, and I said this a long time ago. White folks messed up historically their own image as to why they can't say some of the things that we can
But
say
this is
now.
the problem. Now, guys, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna I want you guys to tell me, what did I say that we should feel bad by white folks because their image is our responsibility? I want you to listen to what the brother said about that. I want you guys to listen, and I want you guys to tell me what's the difference between what I say and what he says. I want you guys to hear out what he said.
They're not doing anything to resuscitate their image. They like being the barbarians that they are. Watch these people punch down on black folks while saying, and I'm gonna get to this now, while saying the problem with white folks is that they have a horrible image. No, they've done horrible things to have a horrible image.
Okay, guys, did I say anything different than what Mr. C just said? Put a yes or no. Did I say anything different? Or we said the same thing? If we said the same thing, write same on the chat. If we said the same thing, put a same in the chat. If we said the same thing, put a same in the chat. I but I guess because once again, he comes to the conversation with animosity towards Latinos. He continuously makes a fool of himself. And that is the problem that I have with folks that think like Mr. C. It's just it's this continuous idiocracy, and this continuous he's proving himself to be a racist, an anti-Latino person, xenophobic as hell, a person that hates any black person that is not dark enough, doesn't have the dark complexion that he loves. If you're not dark, it doesn't matter if you make valid points. You know what? I can't continue with this nonsense. I can't. I'm sorry. I just cannot. You can go watch his stream all you want. But again, if you don't have a darker enough complexion, even though you clearly have African heritage, you will be shut out conversations that make 1000% sense because folks like Mr. C refuse to understand the argument because there's no intention for change. There's no real intention for excellence. There's no real intention to take any action. That's why it's better to just let's use the concept of race. Let's disprove this person from saying what she's saying so that first I can have the black monopoly over black spectators so that they don't follow you, they don't listen to you because you're not black. So we should bounce you out of the conversation. And second, because we don't like your opinion, you're criticizing us. Even when it's valid, you're criticizing us, we don't like it. Shut up. That's basically the point. I don't like what you're saying. I want you to shut up. And again, I'm not going to continue. Like I said, you can go to Mr. C. You can go to Radical Latino stream. I think he will be making a stream about this stuff. If you are one of Mr. C's besties, send him this stuff. Send him stuff. And tell him to read up Latino history and look up our stuff before he talks about stuff that he clearly doesn't know. and then he can come back to the conversation and we can talk about it. But I want to talk about it without having to stop to explain to him how he made a point that's not true in the conversation. Now, I said it on my community tab, and I will say it again. And I'm going to read from my community tab now because it's so cringeworthy that we keep seeing the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. I said 2 weeks ago, in the past few days, many comments have transpired relating the latest streams on the separation between racially ambiguous peoples and Black Americans. This, by any means, correlates with my love for the Black community and Black culture. Many confused people would tell you I should go and address the whites, which I am not at war with. LOL. They'll also tell you I'm anti black, just like when I was addressing the nonsense amongst Latinos, I was also called anti Latino. These people will go as far as blatantly regurgitate xenophobic talking points publicly in an attempt to make me not address the clownery they do. The subscribers that really rock with me from day one know I don't do smoke shows. I don't do personal degradation streams. And I don't dox people to get my way. In the future weeks, I'll continue to speak on what I believe is correct. I'll continue to encourage my Black American subscribers to listen very carefully to who is really speaking in favor and against the continuance of Black Americans as a community. These clowns that claim to be the quote unquote realists for their group are the same ones taking their wealth and their resources to the Latin, Asian, and European community and accelerating Black erasure in this country. Do not be fooled. They'll say cute things to quote unquote appear as if they care and are acting in your favor, but actions speak louder than words. So, to all those clowns, I say, I no longer will engage in conversations with y'all. I won't try to be civil with y'all in any forum. From now, I'll exit any bickering streams. And last, I'll ask before trying to quote unquote check me for my so called quote unquote anti blackness. Where is your Black American family? When y'all can answer that, then come at me. I will be waiting. It's not coincidence that exactly what I wrote applies to people like Mr. C. Mr. C is just another example of why we will not be silence, I'm sorry, about how the anti-Latino sentiment in this country is disgusting because we're supposed to take it because people are used to the image of the Latino that just takes it. And I want to finish on this note. When I told my community we need to stop being the servitude of these entitled ingrates in America, I said it because of people that have this sentiment. Not all Americans, because not all Americans think this way. We need to start moving forward first because, like you guys heard Mr. C, we have no power and they can throw that in our faces everywhere we go. And it is true. We just have to chew and swallow it because we don't have power. We could have great things, but because we don't have power, they will always come and try to shame us out of conversations. This is why I'm so adamant about Latino empowerment. This is why I'm so adamant about us becoming entrepreneurs, getting into corporate America, getting into political positions. This is why. This is what happens. This is the stuff that slow taps and Hispano taps will never tell you, because they want to live in a constant Latino positivity spectrum in which, oh, we're great, Cristo Rey, the three roots, blah 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 blah, and they want to tell you that that is enough. It's enough. We're not going to continue to settle for the cheap tostada in the corner. We also deserve the shrimp tacos. We deserve the churrasco. We are not going to just be eating choripan and morcilla. We deserve the good things in life too. And it's time for us to move forward, because this is the way that this country and people in this country sees us. And this is what they use to shame us. They will continue to do this if we don't move forward. We will be shunned from any conversation, shunned from any decision making. We will not be able to call the shots. And we have educated these people that if they make 50 cents more than us, we will shut up and take it. No more Latinos. My Latino brothers and sisters, wake the hell up. Wake the hell up. We have educated the American population that we're just going to shut up and take it. No more. We are not going to take it anymore. We need to educate American folks that yes, we're very grateful for the things that we enjoy, that they created, and we come here to serve with dignity. But we're not going to be their doormats. We're facilitating your life. We might come here and clean toilets and do gardening and stuff, but we're not a doormat. We're not a step that you just step on and keep stepping on it. It's time for us to treat ourselves with the dignity that we want to be treated with. We're no longer going to tolerate that treatment that we always get from folks as if we're an infestation. Enough. We are tired. We are human beings. We deserve decency, and we're going to demand it. One of my mods, if you can, hold on. There you go. So yeah, we're going to demand that. And if that triggers, if that means that people are going to feel like we're punching down, if that offends any American, well, then you were never a Latino loving person. And this is why we need to start speaking out to weed out the people that think like this. We're not going to take this humiliation anymore. We're not going to be squished in the closet just because we have to live in it until we make it when we come here. Hail to the no. And as a Puerto Rican, I don't have to fight for citizenship, but I will not stand by and let people like this come to my group and start talking crap without me calling it out. And there's nothing you can do because, like I said, I'm a legal citizen. I have rights just as much as you do. I'm a colony of the United States. We pay our taxes. We're not going to let you do this. You're not going to get away with it, and we're not going to take it. To my Latino people, once again, we will not take it. Get your stuff together. Stop servicing assholes. Stop letting people tell you that you just have to take it. We've done this too long, and this is the result we get. Now these people are entitled and think that we have to take their stuff because if not, we're being anti-American. No, we are not. We're just not going to take it. Period. So once again, guys, I want to thank you. Yeah, Jose, you can share the stream. Share it all you want. Share the stream, guys. I want to thank y'all for coming in an early Saturday. I want to thank you for supporting the stream. Share it. subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notification, move it to all so you can always get my notifications, and you can always be here on my streams. Shout out to the black folks that still rock with me, that understand that this is a necessity and want better for black people. Shout out to the Latinos that also support black people in their excellence and are cheering on that they're moving forward, the ones that are working hard. We are excited for what you're doing, and shame on the ones that don't. Same goes for the Latinos that are out there killing it, moving into intimidating corporations and opening a path for the rest of us. Thank you. I am proud of you. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. We got this. We can make it. We did not survive the freaking Spaniards, fought for our land in our country to still come here illegally, still became legal, still reclaim some of our land just to do that. We got this. We can make it. We will get it done. At some point, we will all be the majority. And if we don't, and this country goes to hell, we can always go back home. So, guys, let's get it done. I believe in all my Latino brothers and sisters. I love the fact that I came out. If you feel the same way, don't let this stream go unnoticed. Share it, like it, put it out there in the algorithm, comment on it. We need more of this sentiment. We will not be pushed into all the Latinos that are experiencing some brown guilt for flexing our pride. Shame on you. We love you, but shame on you. So, guys, once again, thank you very much. It was a nice stream. I'll see you guys on the next one. And like I said, I love you. Stay strong. To the ones that hate us, probably hate us because they can't be us. Bye.